Welcome back to the channel for a quick update on Bitcoin. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you it's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. Crypto trend trader, back for a little bit of price action on Bitcoin. We got that weekly close, and the most important thing that we were looking for on that weekly close was basically a close either above the 200 simple, the lighter the blue, or better yet, above the 200 exponential. And it looked like we were actually going to close above, and then we got that massive selling come in at the end. And it was basically, the way I look at that is it was just a massive rejection. So essentially what happened was, we made that attempt. Everybody was looking at this triangle right here, and I knew whatever pattern developed was going to be a fake out, because it was going to be like, jumping the gun basically. So everybody was talking about this pattern right here, this triangle, and then essentially all that happened was it pushed up here right before the hourly close, got the breakout. Everybody that was watching this pattern FOMO'd into it, and basically it sold off 100% on the very next candle, and essentially just wrecked anybody that entered on that entire breakout. And then probably stopped them out as well. Took us back down, and you'll see that, look, that was just like I was talking about, the shorter moving average passing above, but we got basically that fake out down, shot up, the strong rejection, and then at that point in time it's very clear to the market, if this was in the other direction, if we sold off like that to the bottom and then got this huge candle up, it would look like we were going to get a continuation to the upside, and then same thing here. If we get an attempt to the upside and it gets rejected hard, it's going to look like we're going to get continuation to the downside. Now the difference being, this was a reaction rally after a massive dump in a downtrend, so it's going to be less powerful. This is a continuation dump in a downtrend, so it's likely to be more powerful. So but like I said, we're going to get that test down here real shortly and basically see if this is going to hold. But I think likely what's going to end up developing here is we're likely going to play out like a descending triangle as these moving averages continue to reject us on like any substantial time frame. You'll see exactly what I was saying though. This was my exact point in the last video, was you can't even begin to think that this trend is reversing and that we're going to get a move to the upside, that you want to even begin to start accumulating altcoins, Bitcoin, whatever asset you're looking at, when this pattern is playing out right here. Because just like I said, until you get a confirmed, not even just a close, we want a confirmed open, a close, and then or a open and a close, I'm sorry, above this moving average, so we can start saying that we're beginning to reverse the trend. Or alternatively, if you're looking at a shorter time frame, you could basically say, like, once you get that confirmed cross between like your two shorter time frame moving averages. But again, there's no reason to rush into this. We just got a massive move and a reaction rally from it. If you got into the reaction rally, that's fine. That's just like basically a scalp, like just catching a knife. But on a massive move like that, that's fine. Once something's down 20 to 40 to 50%, if you got the balls to jump in on a trade, like, by all means, the risk to reward is like extremely high at that point in time. Because likely it's just like running stops. But now here we are, we're going to come back down here and test it. And, I wouldn't expect the market to necessarily find any strength. I don't necessarily think we're just going to break it on this first attempt. But, more likely than not, we are going to come back down here. And we're at least going to test back into the $3,000 range. If we can hold a higher high or a higher low right here, develop a pattern and then potentially come back up and try to put in like a little strength, that might be ideal. But at this point in time, it looks like we're going to get that continuation. There's nothing in here in these. This is the daily now we're on. So we got the massive daily sell-off. We were already bearish in the market before that. It was very clear what was happening here. So after that, this candle right here, you could maybe say was like somewhat bullish. But you can't really say that because it was right after this candle. It didn't even make it like up to the halfway point, and it wasn't able to maintain like that strength. So I wouldn't even look at this as bullish. And then right afterwards, we've got basically a bearish candle, and you see how it took out over half of the body of the last one. And then we got a rejection to the upside. Okay, that basically is like essentially like a hammer. We start moving to the upside, it gets hammered back down, and then now we're likely to get continuation. And the idea is, where is the continuation going to take us to? And if we zoom back out to our way long time, channel, basically this whole channel that we were in, and then we got that breakout of it, and everybody thought we were in a bull market again. And we never fell for that, obviously, because what we said was we needed this top red trend line actually to get taken out first, on like confirmed candle closes, and then we would potentially get bullish on a retest. And when we came back for the retest, it looked like we were going to get continuation, and then we got rejected. But I was already bearish through here. I saw this pattern playing out. As soon as we lost that parabolic trend line, I knew that this was going to get rejected, and it was just a big fake out. It was very obvious because it's happened a bunch of times over the last few years, specifically in this asset. And the likely thing is, whoever was trading these assets a few years ago is probably, the big whales and the market makers and everything is probably still trading them now, because, they're only probably gaining more. But regardless of any of that, it's all irrelevant. So basically, we're coming down in this channel, and when we came back down now, all we did was find our support at the bottom of this. We got the massive sell-off, we came back up, and now we're finding support at the bottom. We're seeing, is this going to be able to hold us? And it's very, very likely that people are going to lose their little bullishness quickly now, as this starts to play out, and it's going to become very evident that we're coming back down here, probably to retest these lows in the low 3,000 range, and maybe even a new low. But that's what we have to pay attention to. I would like to see us come down here, get like a continued sell-off, develop some divergence down here around like the confluent 786 ranges, like at that like 4,300 area, and then basically find support and get that move back up, and then consolidate and eventually like potentially move to the upside again. But that's all depends on like how this reacts, how the regular markets react, like traditional stocks, gold, all that. So at this point in time, it's hard to make any kind of like long-term predictions. But I have heard quite a few people talking about how technical analysis like doesn't work right now. This is all going perfectly along plan to technical analysis. I mean, all of this technical analysis is like literally playing out by a book. I mean, I haven't just been getting lucky for the last 6 months. Like, this is perfect technical analysis. And on top of that, like the COVID-19 and all this other stuff that's happened, the virus and the stock market crash and all that, that's playing along perfectly too. Like, you could honestly look at the charts and look at the TA and see what was going on, and then essentially like all those are is just like the catalyst. It's like, you wreck your bike or whatever, and then after you wreck your bicycle, like, you get mad and you look for an excuse why you crashed, because it's not your fault. And so, you find a rock and it's the rock's fault. Like, that's basically what people are doing. Like, COVID-19 is like the rock that you blame for, like, the whole system collapsing. But the truth is, this is like, decades in the making. So, but regardless, we're not going to get into all that in this one. We were basically just looking for that weekly close, and the most important thing was to attempt to get that at least above the 200s and try to save this trade, or save this trend. But basically, with that confirmation, we now have like our daily death cross on our exponentials, and we're going to get it on the simples here before long as well. Everything is trending to the downside, and just like we've been saying, we were very close to flipping around the trend, but we did not flip it over. And there's a reason we wait for those confirmations, because this is a massive rejection twice, and basically like psych out. And now, more likely than not, I think what's going to happen here is, we came up here, we sold off, and then when we rebounded after the sell-off, we got back up, sold back off, got back up one more, sold back off. So, I mean, at some point in time, I would think we would find divergence right down in this range. Yeah, the 4,200 range, basically like get the bounce, find support, and then come up here. And then I just think like when we get back to this like $7,000 range, there's just going to be like too much selling pressure. I mean, I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to get back above like the 60, like whatever, $200-300 range like anytime soon. Even 6,000, I mean, could be that psychological number. So it is very likely that we come down here, and this just doesn't hold depending on what the traditional markets do. And we do get the sell-off down to the 886 for like 37.85 85. I mean, but we basically almost tagged it. It got front run once, so it's more realistic at this point in time that the people and the orders that were down there and in the books and ready to go, got picked up already. And if we come back down there again, good possibility we're going to get that continuation sell-off. At which point in time that 2450 range is looking very, very likely. Very, very likely. So, but we'll see how it all plays out. Crypto Trend Trader, and I'm out of here.